This means yes. That means no. Is that right? We are coming to the end of our time in Sofia, so we thought it would be useful to answer some questions to some of the things that we thought would be helpful if you ever came here.
There is a metro system in Sofia. We haven't used it too much just because we've been trying to be super careful with COVID, but it is there, and when we have used it, it's been really clean, really easy to buy tickets, and yeah, it seems like a pretty good metro.
It's 160 lev for a single journey, but you can't cross onto another line. You have to come out and buy a new ticket, but still that's only 80 pence a journey. I would say all in all, Sofia is safe. Like any city, you've got to watch yourself. I've only seen one fight since I've been here. While Romana was waiting, there was a fight. This guy basically, it's like a pedestrian bit with trams. This guy drove at speed around here in front of the shop and nearly knocked a few people down, so everyone was pretty pissed off. And then a guy went and pushed them, and they had a fight, and the police are here now. So pure entertainment on the streets of Sofia, and a waffle. What more could you want? You're looking at, like, for a decent flat with a kitchen, a washer, Wi-Fi, everything, about average like £30 a night. We've had the odd hotel when we've had to cross over when we haven't been able to get into the Airbnbs, and they've been cheap as well.
You can actually find accommodation for slightly cheaper than £30 a night, but it might just be a slightly smaller apartment. It is really reasonable here, and the hotels that we've stayed at have just been kind of budget ones, and we've managed to get like 2 nights for, well, one hotel we stayed in was only about £45 for 2 nights, including breakfast, so there's definitely bargains to be had. But equally, there's some really lovely Airbnbs where you can spend a little bit more and have a really beautiful place to stay. And also, if you are staying for a wee bit longer, obviously with Airbnb you can get discounts for longer stays, which is what we did.
The supermarkets are decent here, I would say. You've got a Lidl here, and you've got another one called Billa, and you've got one called Kaufland. They're the ones that we've spotted.
If you are going to be here for a while and you're going to be shopping in Billa, I would recommend getting a Billa card, because you do get a discount with a Billa card, and that's what we did, and it was really easy to apply for it. I think we just did it online and you get it straight away. We didn't actually have a physical card, it was just something that we showed on our phone that we scanned at the checkout. So if you're going to be here a while, I would definitely recommend doing that.
The good news with Wi-Fi in Bulgaria is that it's in the top 20 best Wi-Fi public hotspots in the world.
A lot of digital nomads actually choose to base themselves in Bulgaria for that simple fact that the Wi-Fi is actually so good and it's really fast. We've never had any issues with it. Oh, bar one hotel that we stayed in where it was really bad. But yeah, apart from that, it's been really good and we've never had any issues.
The currency here in Bulgaria is the Bulgarian lev, and it's roughly 2 lev to the pound.
Taxis in this city are really reasonable compared to back home anyway, where they are very expensive. So we have used a lot of taxis while we've been here. A couple of things to be aware of though: always make sure that the meter is on. And we have actually just ended up using an app that we downloaded, which we found was just a lot easier. So there's lots and lots of taxi companies, but the 2 main ones seem to be Yellow Taxis and OK Taxis. So we downloaded the Yellow Taxi app, and that's the one that we use to go everywhere. We never actually really hail a taxi in the street, we always use the app. And the reason for that is that I read that there are some kind of other taxi companies that pretend to be like this OK taxi company, and they actually kind of like make the taxi almost look like they are part of that company. So they use a very similar logo and things, and they even have their phone number on the taxi to look almost like the OK taxi company, bar like one digit. So if you're just looking quickly, you think you're getting into one of these taxis, but actually you're getting into a different company, and the rates are a lot higher. So what I would recommend is, when you get into the taxi, if you're not entirely sure, check the dashboard, because on the dashboard, and also I think in one of the back windows, there should be a price list that tells you how much the ride will cost, like per kilometre. So just make sure to have a wee look at that if you're not sure, and make sure that the rate is, you know, reasonably cheap, because that's what it should be.
A lot of people do, a lot of people don't, which is quite interesting as well. So you go into, say I went in to get some contact lenses, you kind of muddle through somehow with mime and gestures and the odd kind of word here and there, but people are fairly helpful at pointing you in the right direction if you don't speak Bulgarian. We have attempted to try a few kind of Bulgarian phrases and words, which I think people sort of appreciate, like good afternoon and thank you and please and whatnot.
Another thing that we've used a lot of since we've been here is Google Translate. It has been an absolute godsend. Not so much for kind of communicating with people, but more so if we're in a supermarket and we don't know what something is, or like for instance at the clinic we've had like documents all in Bulgarian that we've needed to translate into English. It's so good. Like literally all you have to do is hold the phone up in front of the text that you want to read, and it translates it on your phone straight away into whatever language you want to translate it into. So that has actually been a real godsend since we've been here. Honestly, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say I don't exactly know what the traditional Bulgarian food is. Normally when we go travelling to different countries, we really love to try the food there. But because of COVID, we haven't been going out for meals and things. Despite the fact that restaurants have been open for the majority of our time here, we just felt it was a little bit too risky. So if I'm being completely honest, we've had a lot of kind of baked goods, which you saw in a previous video, and we've kind of just had like takeaways, but not really traditional Bulgarian food as such. We had some lovely soup one day, but I would love to actually come back another time post-COVID and be able to actually really kind of sample the real traditional Bulgarian food, but really we've just kind of had like snacky type things.
Usually when you go to a city, people say, make sure you look up so you don't miss all the architecture. I would say that's definitely counts for Sofia, but also make sure you look down, because there's lots of potholes and like crooked pavements and stuff. I nearly broke my leg about 3 times.
So as well as metros in Sofia, there are also trams, and some of them are actually really cool. They're quite kind of old school looking. But we also saw this thing. And the question is it a bus or is it a tram? Or is it a tram bus?
Now, there's these little shops called Klek shops. Now, Klek translated into English means knee. And they're these little shops that sort of like pavement level. They're obviously like in basements, and they sell like juice and crisps and confectionery and all kinds. But I love them because you've got to kind of like peer down, speak to the cashier and get what you need. The
pet shops here really reminds me of pet shops when I was growing up back in like the 80s, because they actually have pets in the window, so you can see like little kind of kittens and puppies and things, and whilst it seems pretty cruel, to be honest, to have them kind of in a window and in such a confined space, it does make for good viewing because they are so cute, and I guess when they're in the window like that, they're probably not going to stay there for too long, and they're probably going to get sold pretty quickly because they are just they melt your heart. And if we lived here, or if they still did that back home, 100% we would have a pet by now, because yeah, they're so cute. And as I said, they don't really stay in the window for long, so they obviously get sold pretty quickly, I would imagine.
On the subject of animals, there's lots and lots of stray cats and dogs in Sofia. which isn't a problem for me because I love animals and I'm forever petting them. It's a real problem for people in Sofia because people complained it's just getting out of control. So they came up with this project whereby they take the dogs in to a vet, they get them neutered, they get them vaccinated, they get them tagged. There's lots of them got little tags around their ears, and then they put them back where they got them from. So if you see kind of a lot of dogs like just lying around the street, like I did, I thought they were dead to start with. They just sort of lie around the street in the sun. But actually what's really nice is people in Sofia look after the cats and dogs. I've seen loads of people setting up little kennels and feeding the stray cats, coming out and giving them water and milk and everything. So it seems like people are for that rather than against it.
Normally when we go away abroad, we always get kind of like some currency to take with us before we leave. But because this trip was a little bit last minute, we didn't really have time to do that. And we didn't really want to be using our kind of UK bank account card all the time to take money out the cash machine because it really adds up with fees and things. So what we actually discovered was something which is so good for people who are traveling or going on holiday. And it's a card called TransferWise. I think they've actually just changed their name to Wise now. We kind of discovered this while we were here and we found it so good. We actually applied for cards while we were here and had them posted out here. But the fees for TransferWise are so much lower than we would spend if we were using our UK bank account. And it's really easy. It's all just done on an app and you just transfer money from your UK bank account into this kind of like online account, and you can then withdraw money in the local currency, whichever country that you're in. And also the exchange rates are really good for it as well. So we're not getting any sponsorship for this, but it's just something that we've found really useful and we'll certainly use it going forward when we're visiting other countries.
What you might come across is this, which means yes, not no, and this means no. Is that right? I'm confusing myself.
Yeah, that is right.
I'm getting confused with this. So a lot of the time if you like ask for directions or whatever, or you ask, is the shop open, they'll kind of go like, they'll sort of like shake their head as if to say no, but actually means yes, and that means yes. I'm confused.
That means no.
That means no. It's really confusing. I've still not got my head around it.
Your head, literally.
Yeah. So yeah, this means yes. That means no. Is that right?
So we hope that you've enjoyed this little video about things that we've kind of learnt while we've been in Sofia and some hints and tips. If you are coming to Sofia, we hope you have a brilliant time, and if you want to ask us anything about our trip so far, then please just pop it in the comments below and we'll get back to you. And if you have enjoyed this vlog, then please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up button to give us a little like.